Hi, my name is Tyvis Powell, former Ohio State Buckeye and national champion DB. Welcome to the Buckeye Cast. These guys was born and bred in the Buckeye State, and they like to talk Buckeye football and drink bourbon. Subscribe to the show. Now pour up a drink and pull up a stool. Here's your host, Joe Warwick. Get him, Joe.
All right, welcome into your Buckeye Rush Hour for October 25th, 2024. You know it's a Friday, and you know we are here to party. Why not? It's a Friday. So I appreciate everybody popping in. I do have a question for the chat before we get rolling. This one's an interesting one. I've been thinking about this, kicking it around in my own head about this 2024 team, Buckeye team. And I want to know, let me pop this in here. Does Ohio State have a position group that can go out and win a game if it has to? Like, think about maybe, I don't know, in the past you had a defensive end group, right? Chase Young, the Bosa's. They could go out there and make a play. Like, think about Penn State. Let me pin this there on YouTube. We are live on Twitter and X, whatever the fuck you want to call it, and Instagram as well. Still working on the Facebook thing. Apparently I have to have 100 followers on Facebook before I can go live there, so that's probably not going to happen unless you guys know how to get me 100 followers in a hurry. Anyway, so does Ohio State have a position group that can go out and win a game? Could even be one player that you have faith in right now with this 2024 group. You could say Zeke, back in the 2014, 2015 season maybe, if you could go lean on him to go win you a game. Didn't work against Michigan State, of course. Again, I go back to the D-line, the D-ends of yesteryear, throughout the Urban Meyer tenure, 2019 also, 2020, not really. So is there, or a DB you can rely on to maybe go and shut down the other team's best receiver? I don't know if we have these things. Do we have a quarterback that you can rely on that can go out and win the game for you? A running game, an offensive line. I don't think you can say an offensive line with just losing Josh Simmons. Maybe eventually they could have gotten there. Now you just took 2 steps backwards, right? So think about that. If something comes to your brain, pop it in here and let me know what you think. So I have a programming announcement. I'm going to have to put the Daily Buckeye Blitz on hold for the rest of this season. If I can bring it back, I will. Maybe I can do it occasionally. I just can't do it daily. I've got so much going on right now. With this hurricane, this place is still in shambles. The neighborhood is just mountains and mountains of people's kitchen cabinets and drywall and furniture, mattresses, sofas. Because the people on the first floor of all these buildings, there's a lot of condo buildings around me. Everybody who lived on the first floor had water up to their shins, almost to their knees. So imagine having to remediate, tear out everything that existed, your baseboards, your drywall, chop it all off a couple feet from the floor up and take it down to the studs. That's what's happening in every condo in my area. It looks horrible driving down the street. It's a small, little, tiny, quiet street. But so anyway, and so my issue here inside my unit is we had roof damage during the last hurricane, and water got in, so now we have ceiling damage because I'm on the top floor of a 2-story condo building. So you've got brown spots in the ceiling and shit. It looks like it could be a little soft maybe. So anyway, we have to have the entire ceiling ripped out. They already repaired the roof externally, so the condo association took care of that, but now we got to have, a Serve Pro, one of those restoration type companies come in, rip out the whole GD ceiling in my living room, dining room area. So we got to leave for a week next week. It's Monday through Friday at least. So this is what's going on in my life. Therefore, I also need to like put in more hours to make money. Unfortunately, the show does not make any money, virtually zero. So I got to make money, excuse me. Yeah, the insurance helps out with these repairs and all that, but still got to make money. And with, we were gone for a week up in Amelia Island by Jacksonville when the storm came, and then we got to leave for another week next week while they're repairing the aftermath, So that's what's going on. I'm just pausing the Daily Blitz. I'm not stopping it or, killing it or anything, but just want to update everybody there because I know a lot of you guys look for it every day, and I got to pause it. It's a hell of a time, I know, right in the middle of the freaking season when we're going for a natty. I know it sucks, but that's where we're at. But I need more time in the day, and I don't know how to create that without, scaling back some things. So unfortunately, the Daily Blitz has to take a back seat for now. But anyways, today we're talking 5 keys to a Buckeye victory. I merged that in with my best bets for tomorrow. So I definitely want, I know a lot of people look for the best bets. They like to, play along with me, and that's awesome. And so we're going to do 5 keys first, then the best bets. I'll get to your comments and questions, and if you feel differently, please drop your comments in the chat. I will get to them, I promise. These 5 keys won't take long, and then the best bets, I do have quite a few, but I can go through them pretty quickly. All right. And I'll update you on how I'm doing this so far this year through 8 weeks. I am above 500, so there's that. It's amazing how I can focus in all the tough times. So anyway, let's get into it here. 5 keys to a Buckeye victory. Sounds like the weather's not going to be an issue. Last I checked, Columbus weather sounds like it's going to be fine. No rain or wind or shit like that unless something's changed. So weather forecast is fine. Now, before I get started on key number 1 here, I do want to say I like Matt Rule. I know everybody says that. I mean it. I like I've heard a lot of his press conferences this week after the tough loss to Indiana. And, he stood up for, his team, and he kind of took some of the blame for that game. He said he didn't see it coming. And I would also caution Buckeye fans that you're not going to see Ohio State beat this Nebraska team 56-7. I think you just got to let's reduce the expectations here. They turned the ball over like 5 times last week. Plus they went for it on 4th down when they were way behind. I think it was like they were 28-7. He's trying to go for it on 4th downs, which I respect. Trying to get his team back into it. Show that as a coach, you never want to wave the white flag until you absolutely have to. So especially coming out in the second half, I understand him going for the 4th downs, but still, I want to temper expectations for Buckeye fans. I think we will dominate this team, just to be clear. But let's start it off here with key to a Buckeye victory number 1. It's close to dinner time, so maybe my stomach's growling a little bit, but heat up the ravioli is all I'm saying. Honey, you heat up that ravioli, and maybe can we get a side order of those awesome Olive Garden breadsticks, with the little boat of Alfredo sauce to dip in? Oh, that is the shit. There's nothing better in the Italian food realm. I know it's not really Italian, but anyway. So heat up the ravioli. Pressure, pressure, pressure. This kid, Dylan Raiola, is a Patrick Mahomes wannabe. He's got the look, the hair, does the goofy throws, off platform, all the shit, right? Only plays. He's only committed to teams who wear red. Did you notice that little tidbit? So this kid, Raiola, 9 TDs, 6 picks, 14 sacks though. That's 2 per game. He's not mobile. He still makes those expected freshman mistakes, right? Passing yards per game, he's putting up 234.7. That's 59th in the country. The Buckeyes are allowing 165 after that whopper to Oregon. That definitely put a dent in the average, but we're still 11th in passing yards allowed to our opponents. So Ryan Day, we've heard all the scuttlebutt and all the press conferences with Ryan Day and all that this week about he's not happy with QB pressures. He says he's not happy with anything. Nobody's happy. Don't say happy, So let's heat up the ravioli. Jack, JT, whoever it might be. What's going to be different with this QB pressure package? Is it going to be they're going to probably run a lot of 4-3 this week. Nebraska likes to line up in 12 personnel with 2 tight ends. So you're going to see a lot of 4-3, 3 linebacker sets. So that means you can blitz those linebackers, use those guys, get C.J. Hicks in the game, blitz him off the edge occasionally. So, and the running game is not going to help Nebraska and Raiola. They're averaging 125 per game. That's 93rd in the country. The Buckeyes are allowing 87 per game. That's 4th in the country to their opponents. So don't worry about the running game. That's not a problem. So heat up the ravioli, add some breadsticks on the side with the Alfredo sauce boat, and we're good to go. All right, the next ones will go quicker. Number 2, key to a Buckeye victory, bounce back, big-time bounce back game for the secondary. I'm including safeties in this as well. I want to see Denzel Burke, Davison Igbinosun in tight coverage. None of that off-coverage bullshit. None of that, I'll play the sticks and let the man come to me. No. I want press, man, bump and run coverage from the line of scrimmage. And also in the secondary, we got to replace Lathan Ransom with the injury. He's probably going to be out at least this week. Hopefully he's back for Penn State. Now, you got Hancock. Since you're going to have 3 linebackers on the field, typically you would take Jordan Hancock off because he would be covering the slot. Now, if they're coming out with 2 tight ends, you don't have a slot receiver. So Hancock could move to that the bandit safety, which covers mostly tight ends and stuff. Or you got the young guy, Jalen McClain. He was the first guy out of Ryan Day's mouth the other day at the press conference. You also got Malik Hartford. Hartford's more of the deep safety. He would be backing up Caleb Downs. But they should be interchangeable. I like Hancock because of his experience. He knows the defense. He's played in it for a few years now. Give me Hancock covering tight ends. I think we're good there. He's a tough son of a bitch in the run defense as well. He's not afraid to come up and smack somebody. So give me Hancock all day long. He is one of the best defenders on our team. So you have this Thomas Fedone for Nebraska. That's the tight end matchup that Hancock would be going up against. And then the secondary, Burke, IGB, you got to lock down these receivers. Jamal Banks, Isaiah Nayer, Ja'Cory Barney. Looking at some of these targets, I wanted to give a quick rundown here. So as far as targets go, Jamal Banks leading the team with 36 targets, just 300 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. These guys are not putting up fantastic numbers because they got a true freshman throwing a freaking ball at them. Then you got Nayer, 35 targets, 300 yards, and Barney Trouble, 32 targets, 177 yards, so no touchdowns. So not a huge passing threat. Nayer has the 4 touchdowns, leads the team there. So not a huge concern in the passing game, but this should be a bounce back game for the secondary entirely. All right, key to a Buckeye victory number 3, everything Zen. Return of the run game. Let's get Zen comfortable. Zen Mahalski filling in for Josh Simmons, officially out for the season. So let's get Zen comfortable with the rest of the O-line and build some cohesion with the rest of the guys. And how do you do that? mash dudes across the ball from you all day long. The Buckeyes are putting up 208.5 on the ground per game. That's 15th in the country. Nebraska, though, this is kind of a strength versus strength thing. They're 10th in the country, allowing 97 yards to their opponents per game rushing. Their D tackle Ty Robinson has 11 stops. Nash Huntmacher, these guys are their D tackles, has 8 stops. Looking at some of their pressures, we'll get to the pressures in a second, but then their linebacker John Bullock, he leads with 18 stops on defense, and Micah Gayer, Gayer, I'll leave it alone. I'll be nice. Has 15 stops. They do like to miss some tackles. You know how I am about missed tackles on a defense. I will bang on you for that. As a team, 66 missed tackles. What is that? Through 7 games, right? So that's about 10 a game almost. Malcolm Hartzog leads a team with 8 missed tackles of his own. And Indiana ran for 215 yards against this team. So it kind of tells you these guys can be had. I imagine that that opponent rushing yards average I gave you, 97 yards per game, is going to continue to maybe skyrocket, right? So I'm looking for maybe a dozen carries for Quinshawn and Travion. So everything's in. Let's get the running game going. These guys are not impressive when you look at their run defense grades along the front 7. Nobody's great. They got a couple guys around 70, but most of the where's the positions? There we go. Yeah, the interior guys, their run defense grades are 55, 60, 61. Linebackers. The edge rushers are okay. Linebackers, 60, in the 60s. So anyway, big key to a Buckeye victory, number 4, Buckeye big plays. Let's drop the bombs on these fools all day, every day. Ryan Day said he isn't happy with the deep passing game either. So let's unload. Open the Bombay doors. Will Howard, the wide receiver core, Emeka Egbuka, Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate. Can we get Carnell Tate some love here? Poor guy's got like 1 catch in the last couple of weeks. Get him in there. Let's go. Light these fools up. Indiana lit up this secondary. Now, I know Indiana is completely made over. They're the new and improved Indiana, not your father's Indiana. Or your Indiana, for that matter. So Indiana put up 280 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. They did work with a lot of short fields with the turnovers and the 4th down non-conversions, I guess. So Indiana, the Buckeyes put up 9.3 yards per pass. That's 9th in the country. Nebraska allows 6.7 per pass. That's 44th to their opponents. Passing yards per game, the Buckeyes put up 294. That's 16th. Nebraska allows 208. That's 44th also. Completion percentage, the Buckeyes are 3rd in the country. Will Howard is dotting people up, and it's nice to see. It's a nice change of pace. I always thought 65 to 68% was good. He's up in 71% on the season. That's 3rd in the country. And then Nebraska is 89th in the country. They're allowing a 63% completion percentage to their opponents. 3rd down conversions, the Buckeyes are cranking out 49%. That's 12th. And then Nebraska's allowing 37%. That's 54th. So, 3rd down conversions are happening. Now, who are we going to attack in this defense? That's a great question, Joe. I'm glad you asked. I'll answer that for you. So typically, as a passing offense, in the passing game of the offense, you want to get matchups against the linebackers and safeties, right? Well, Malcolm Hartzog, number 7, the safety for Nebraska, he is very targeted. 32. He leads the team, leads the defense in the most targets. He's allowed 20 catches. and 3 touchdowns. He does have 3 picks, so he will occasionally make you pay. So it's probably worth taking a crack at him and going after him. He has a pass breakup as well, but he allows 11.9 yards per catch. Again, he's a safety, so he's probably deep. Then you got Sierra Wright, number 15. He's given up 14 catches on 28 targets, just 150 yards though, and a touchdown. Does have a pick himself. Marcus Buford, he is number 3. He's targeted 25 times. He's allowed 17 catches, 246, and a touch. Also has a pick. And these guys all got a few PBUs. So, occasionally, if you're not accurate with the ball, these guys will knock it down or pick it. But I'm not super intimidated at all by these guys on the secondary. Let's see, their best coverage grade is Deshaun Singleton, number 8. He's a safety. He's graded out at a 73. The corners, you got Tommy Hill. He's graded out a 72.3. He's number 6. Sierra Wright is a 71. He's graded out. So who else here? The other safety, 47. Oh, he's only played 4 snaps. Who else? Jeremiah Charles has played a bit, 68.5. So the grades aren't terrible. I mean, 70s are good, but those guys that I mentioned earlier are highly targeted. Now, looking at the pass rush here, as we talk about the Buckeye offense, lighten it up through the air, you got to, protect the passer, right? Protect Will Howard, especially with Zen Mahalski in there at left tackle. James Williams, he's the edge rusher that leads the team in QB pressures. Also leads the team in sacks. He has 23 pressures. He's gotten 7 hits on the quarterback. He's their best edge rusher, number 90. So keep an eye out for him. We definitely have to shut him down. His pass rush grade is a 77.8, so very good there. Interior guys, Ty Robinson, number 9. He does get some pressure on the quarterback. 22 pressures, 3 sacks, so got to watch for him. He's kind of like their Tyleek Williams. Again, number 9 there. You know what I saw today? I about shit my pants. Willis McGahee the 4th. Yeah, that Willis McGahee is on this team. He's an edge rusher. He's played in 6 games. He's a freshman. Unbelievable. He has 1 sack, too. You're welcome. I just made everybody in the chat feel old. Sorry. He must have gotten an early start on baby making, right? Anyway, how's your knee? Oh, that was low. Ooh. Anyway. So, yeah. Solid pass rush ability. The interior guys are not a huge threat to me. This Hunt Macker guy, not a concern. He just has 12 pressures. He's number 00. Didn't know you could have that. The edge rushers, good, not great. So a worthy test, though, for this O-line, for sure, in both the run and the pass game. So drop the bombs, open the bomb bay doors. Let's do it. Let's light up these corners. Last one. Key to a Buckeye victory, number 5. I will get to your comments, I promise. All apologies, nice people of Nebraska. That is the card you will be receiving from the Big Ten schedule makers on Monday. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. We haven't played in 2 weeks. We lost the last time we played, so I think you're going to see a lot of anger from the Buckeye defense, offense, whatever. A lot of emotion. Definitely going to see some domination. So sorry, not sorry. This is going to be a close to a bloodbath, and it's not even Halloween yet. So Buckeye, I want to see silver hats flying around. I want to see mayhem. I want people with their hair on fire, literally on the field. No, I'm just kidding. Don't take that. So let's see some freaking emotion, offense and defense, both. I need to see something here. I want to see a position group kind of grab the bull by the balls, right? And show me that we can go win this game. We can take over a game. We can dominate a game no matter who the opponent is. And now I know Nebraska is not Oregon, Georgia. Saying Alabama doesn't really do much for me anymore, but a Tennessee, I don't know. Anyway, so I know that Nebraska is not, a top-level program in the country, but it's a team to take out your anger on. So apologies. People of Nebraska are super nice, so apologies to them, and don't bring your stupid red balloons to Columbus. They will be popped before they even get in the stadium. Anyway, so those are my 5 keys. Number 1, heat up the ravioli. Side order of breadsticks. Biscuits, breadsticks. Number 2, bounce back game for the secondary. Tight coverage. None of that off shit. Everything's zen. Return to the run game. Then Buckeye big plays. Dropping bombs on your moms. Light up the secondary like it's freaking 4th of July. And then last one, sorry not sorry. Sweet, kind people of corn country. All right, those are the 5 keys. Let's pop into comments here, and then we'll get to my best bets. Okay. Here we go. Let's do it. All right, Billy's in first. What's up, Billy? Good to see you. Hey, Joe. Hey, Billy. Doug's in. What's up, Doug? Good to see you. Been a little while. IO to you. Or OH. Oh, yeah, I like it. Oh, and the question of the day, the quad. Billy says, you'd think our DBs would win a game. Will Howard, maybe. Okay. I would say on our defense, I would start with the secondary, yeah. No one person stands out. Caleb Downs looks good occasionally, but he doesn't seem to be like at free safety, the deep safety. It's really hard to dominate a game, right? I mean, unless you're living life up by the line of scrimmage. Thank you, Billy. I appreciate that. Mean Green, welcome to the show. This is my first time on the stream, 57 years old, and I've been a diehard Ohio State fan my entire life. Look forward to supporting our Buckeyes through this stream. Thank you, Mean Green. Welcome to the show. Go Buckeyes, beat Nebraska. That's what I'm saying. Odysseus is back with a bunch of nuts. Nice nuts, Odysseus. Odysseus says, D-line needs to make Ravioli see ghosts. Yeah, and we've seen that so far from Ravioli, right? He does see some ghosts, kind of like Arch Manning and Quinn Ewers last week against that Georgia defense. They were seeing some freaking ghosts, man. Steven, what's up, Steven? Good to see you. Steven and went 7-7 last week. Nice. Okay. 500. Hey, you got to have some of those 500 weeks, even Steven. Just kidding. To get you to those, 10-4 weeks or something like that, right? So, all right. Let me check Instagram. Nobody. Oh, Julie Warwick's watching. Hey, that's my sister, everybody. Keep it clean. Keep it clean. All right, let's talk best bets now. So last week, week 8, I went 7-6, just over 500 by the skin of my. Anyway, 46-40 is what I have for my record so far this year. We'll take it. I lost on the Purdue game against Oregon last week. I lost on UCLA Rutgers over under. I lost on Clemson, favored by 21 last week to Virginia. I lost on Nebraska versus Indiana. But then I won Tennessee, Bama. I took Tennessee plus the 3 and under 57. Then I won Illinois against the Cheaters. I had Illinois +4, and I had the under 44.5. I won also on Notre Dame G Tech. I had the Domers -6.5 for the first half, -12.5 for the game. Won on both of those, so a little heater there, midstream. Then took the L on Texas -5. Phew, what can you say? But I did hit on the under 57. And I took the L on Iowa -6 at Sparty. All right, so this week, let's get into it. Let's go here. Let's start off with Washington at Indiana. We got to start talking about Indiana every week. They're ranked 13th. All right, they're undefeated through 7 games. So you got this is in Bloomington. So you got the Huskies. Huskies. I get confused sometimes with Huskers and Huskies. Anyway, so you got Washington with a not so great offense coming in against Indiana, who's kind of, done well against shitty teams. But Washington's only putting up, yards per play, 6.5, IU, 7.1. Defense, Washington is equal here. Very close to on par with IU. Both of them are allowing 4.4 yards per play, so that's saying something. And Washington actually is better in opponent completion percentage. They're at 50%, and opponent third down conversions. They're a point better at 35% in third down conversions. So I am taking Indiana -6.5 for the game. Washington has 2 losses, so yeah. This Indiana offense, I think, is going to be able to move the ball. Home game, that helps. So Indiana -6.5. Next up, Notre Dame and Navy. I'm going to pull up my stats here. For this one, this is noon on ABC. The last one was noon on BTN. Notre Dame at Navy, 12 versus 24 matchup. Notre Dame does have the 1 loss to Northern Illinois. Navy is undefeated. This game is in MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, though. Notre Dame favored by 13. I am taking the Domers, mostly because their offense is slightly better. They've been on a tear lately. No. Navy's offense is better. 7.6 points per yards per play. Notre Dame just 6.1. But the defense for Notre Dame, 4.2 yards per play. Navy's at 5.5. Notre Dame, though, completion percentage is better. Third down conversion. They are worse in the red zone scoring, but that also includes field goals. So I'm taking Notre Dame minus the 13 for that one. Next up, 3:30 on CBS. This is an interesting game. You got number 20 Illinois at Oregon. Oregon's number 1 ranked, undefeated, of course, in Big Ten and in their non-cons. So we got Oregon's favored by 21.5, an odd number there. So the over/under also is 54.5. Now, this Oregon offense, we've seen it up close and personal. It lights up the scoreboard. 6.9 yards per play. They're better at completion percentage, 75%. They are whipping it around at. Third down conversions, much better than Illinois, 50%. The one thing that Illinois can hang its hat on in this game is red zone scoring defense. Their opponent scoring is 87%. So Oregon's defense does only allow 4.9 per play, and their completion percentage is almost equal, 63 to 60%. So I'm taking Illinois at the points. It's a lot. I know it's at Autzen. I'm taking Illinois plus 21.5. Got the hook there on the end. And under 54.5. I think Illinois can slowly move the ball, ball control it, bleed the clock, limit possessions. So I think I'm not saying Illinois is going to win at all, but I think they can cover that 21.5. And don't forget the under. If Oregon doesn't have the ball, they can't, hit that over by themselves. Next up, 3:30, you got Northwestern at Iowa. This one I liked because it's going to be like a defensive struggle. I don't see either. So just to cut to it, do I need to really go through the whole charade here? We know these offenses are terrible. 4.3 yards per play for Northwestern, 5.5 for Iowa. And same on the defense. They're very equal, surprisingly. But anyway, I'm taking the under 38. I don't think these two teams combined can score 38. So quick one there for you. Next up, I think we still have to kind of talk about Bama. What is this one? Bama's favored by 17. They got Missouri coming to Tuscaloosa. Is Tuscaloosa still an intimidating place to play? I don't see it. Anyway, looking at the stats here, matching up with these guys. Missouri started off ranked way too high. We can all admit that, right? I will get to your comments in a bit. I'm rifling through these best bets, but Missouri obviously did not deserve to be up there. And then, what's his name? The quarterback got hurt. Brady, is that his name? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Anyway, yards per game, Missouri's putting up 411. That's 44th in the country. But the Bama defense is allowing 352. That's 42nd in the country. So kind of a strength versus strength. Good offense, not great. Decent defense, not great, as we've seen. Very equal in third down conversions, offense to defense, rushing yards. Neither is that great. 171 from Mizzou. Alabama defense is allowing 141. That's 57th in the country. Passing, they're both pretty equal there too. 240 Mizzou puts up per game. Alabama allows 210. They're both ranked right around the 50s. So really, turnovers are about the same. There is no margin. I don't see it. Jalen Milroe, I guess, is your X factor. If he can take off and run and nobody can spy him or get him to the ground, I think that's your wild card here. So I'm taking Alabama minus 17. I think Mizzou shouldn't even be ranked anymore. I know they're 2-1 in the SEC with the one loss and all that, but these guys are not that good, I don't think. So Bama minus 17 there. Next up, 4:15 on the SEC network. You got number 5 Texas at number 25 Vandy. Now this one's interesting because we've seen Vandy do some work here, as we just talked about with Bama. Let me pull up the matchup stats. So Texas. Now I think this is last week's game against Georgia was a tough spot. Maybe Quinn Ewers is not up to 100%, and I think putting in Arch was maybe the wrong thing to do there, or maybe you waited too long to do it. I don't know. I could go back and forth on that one. I don't like benching, multi-year starters. Generally speaking, that's why I wasn't for completely benching Denzel Burke. Maybe for a series, yeah, but not for the rest of the game or something like that. But anyway, it was a weird situation there, and now Quinn Ewers, has that kind of looking over his shoulder thing in the back of his mind. So Vandy, they don't do anything fantastic. As far as yardage goes, their defense is kind of bad. They're like in the 70s in points per game. They allow 26 points a game. They allow 375 yards per game to their opponents. Third down conversions, they're 102nd. So they let their opponents move the ball. It's just, can you stop their offense, right? So when their offense is going against the Texas defense is like top 10 in every category. Points per game, they allow 9.7. Vandy, they put up 30 yards per game. Texas, number 1. They allow 237. Vandy puts up 367 yards a game. That's 77th. So I don't see a way for this Vanderbilt team. I think they got their one big victory, their signature win as a program against Alabama. So take Texas minus 19 for that one. Yeah, that's a weird time and a weird number there. 4:15 on the SEC number. All right. Anyway, let's go just a few more here. I don't want to talk about Florida State and Miami. I don't care. Anyway, I'm taking. I would take Florida minus 21 for that one, and Florida State's a dumpster fire. Do we need to say more? Then take the under 54.5 on that one. I don't want to talk about LSU and Texas A&M either. So take LSU plus 2.5. If you have faith in Texas A&M to win a game against a top-ranked opponent, good luck. And take the under on that one as well, 54.5. Penn State, Wisconsin. Number 3, Penn State at Wisconsin. Wisconsin 5-2, 3-1 in the Big Ten. Looks like they've kind of turned a corner there. They're starting to run the ball more, getting back to what they do best. I understand Luke trying to go in there and switch things up, but man, stick with the run game. That's what they do. It's what they always done. And that's like, it's in the soil there. So Penn State, one of the top defenses in the country, obviously. Number 7 in points per game, number 4 in yards per game, number 7 in points per play, opponent yards per play. So, but Wisconsin, they're up to 59th now. They're running the ball at 143 yards per game. That's improving. It's gotten better. And then Penn State, they're 8th in the country, allowing 95 yards a game. Let's see who can, strength versus strength. And maybe Phil Longo's figuring some things out with the offense that they can do to move the ball. And again, you're going to see ball control, reduce the amount of possessions for Penn State, and Drew Aller. So Wisconsin's defense doing well against the pass, 10th in the country in opponent passing yards per game. So that's something to hang on there. They're allowing 163 points a game, or yards per game. Sorry, they're 10th in the country in yards per game. So on that one, I think Penn State. I know Franklin is known to blow the big ones and these later October and November games in the Big Ten. So but it's only 6.5. Take Penn State with the 6.5, and then take the under 47.5. I think this is going to be kind of a smash mouth running game. Back and forth kind of thing. 2 more here, and I'll get to your comments. You got Michigan State going to the Cheaters. Both teams with 2 losses in the Big Ten. You got Sparty. Let's see, the Cheaters are favored by 5.5. So these 2 teams, what can you say? Horrible offenses, quarterbacks that can't hit the broadside of a barn. Sparty putting up 5.5 yards per play. The Cheaters only 4.9. That's pathetic. Completion percentages, these guys are like at 60%. Third down conversions, they're at 36% and 38%. Sparty to the Cheaters. Defenses, this is going to be kind of a back and forth defensive struggle thing. So you got opponent completion percentage, both teams are at 60%. Red zone scoring, both are right around 80%. They allow their opponents to score. So who can run the ball, I guess, is the big question, right? You got Sparty is running the ball at 125.7. That's 91st in the country. The Cheaters are 6th in the country, allowing 92.1. Then throwing the ball, Sparty's a little better, 64th in the country in passing yards per game. And the Cheaters are horrible at pass defense. They got 2 guys on that pass defense. I really can't wait for the Buckeyes to light up. They are 82nd in the country in passing yards per game allowed. So I just think it's going to be a tight one. Nobody gets out ahead by more than 3 points. So I take Sparty plus 5.5 for this one. And I think you should definitely take the under. It's a night game, 7:30 on BTN. So, weird things happen when these two get together at night. Under 39.5. So, next up, your Buckeyes. This is the nooner on Fox, big noon. Nebraska 5-2, 2-2 in the Big Ten. The Buckeyes 5-1, 2-1 in the Big Ten. We kind of went through it here, but I think this is a get-right game for the Buckeyes. They're going to take out a lot of frustrations, a lot of anger on the previous game, and then not being able to play for another week on top of that. So I think the Buckeyes, just looking at the points per game right off the top, Nebraska allows 23.5. They put up 23.5. That's 81st in the country. So these guys are not going to light up the scoreboard and put points on the board. So yards per game, their offense is 83rd in the country. Yards per play, they're 98th, their offenses. So then this Buckeye offense, 5th in points per game, 5th in yards per game. Yards per play, they're 4th, going against this Nebraska defense that is they're top 40 in points per game to their opponents, yards per game, 54th in opponent third down conversions, but we're 12th. So I don't see an avenue for Nebraska to keep this close. Buckeyes are favored by 25.5, so I would take the Buckeyes to cover that, and should be an easy victory for the Buckeyes. So, all right, let's get back to your comments here. Steven's laughing. Mean Green says we need to see hard-nosed, smash-mouth Ohio State football tomorrow. Let's go Buckeyes. I'm right on board with you. Let's see some silver helmets flying around on offense and defense. We'll see guys just flying around. 11 guys in the frame on defense. You know the drill. Odysseus says, I think UW gives Indiana a scare with their backup starting. That's possible. Yeah. Yeah. It's in Indiana, though, so, I don't know if the stat has had enough time to really play itself out, but in a short, small sample size, the teams traveling 2 time zones not being so successful seems to be, kind of heavy in favor of that. So we'll see if UW can come over 2 time zones and do something in Bloomington. Odysseus says, I got Navy with the upset. Okay, nice. The offense is much different. This is not the old offense. So can they shut down the Notre Dame offense is the question, I think. Sage, what's up, Sage? Hello to you. Sage says, after a loss and then go on the road, not easy. Exactly. Especially when you're going to Columbus. So Nebraska does have a difficult road. Buckeye Dog 22, that is Stephen Cherry, if I remember right. Says, win out and have some roasted duck in the Big Ten championship game. I like it. Let's go, Stephen. Hell yeah. Oh, we have a quack in the chat. What's up, Nathan? How you doing? Welcome to the show. Are you a quack? Steven says, Buckeyes 38-17 over Nebraska. Bonus pick, Wisconsin over Penn State, 31-24. All right. Calling the upset there, huh? Interesting. But you don't have the Buckeyes covering on that Nebraska game. Nathan, that's twice people talk shit, but both these teams can win Natty. Twice? What? I don't know what's twice. Yeah, Oregon and Ohio State, is that who you're talking about? Both teams can win the Natty? Yeah, I agree. No, I can't argue that. Sage says, I'll take Sparty. Steven says, just win out and no style points needed. Well, that's exactly right. Just got to win 10 in a row. Not easy. Nathan says, who cares? Okay, I don't know what you're referring to, but thanks for watching. Sage says, Raiola will come in with a slight attitude until he put his dick in the dirt. Okay. Keeping it real. Yeah. He's a freshman. Makes freshman mistakes. He's not going to have a big day against this defense. Not after everything that we've talked about, Ryan Day has talked about, all the pressure that's put on this defensive staff as a whole, and Jim Knowles, trickling on down to Larry Johnson and everybody else. So, yeah, this is not a good week to bounce back for Raiola, for sure. So, you're going to see a lot of quick release out of Raiola, I think. He's going to get the ball out quick. They may try some ball control, bleed the play clock down, limit those possessions like we've seen. But I was looking at some stats earlier on PFF, and as far as time in the pocket, so they have an average time to throw stat, and in Power 5, all the QBs with how many? I think 100, at least 100 dropbacks so far. So in the Power 5, Dylan Raiola is 30th out of 69 teams. His average time of dropback is 2.73 seconds. To compare that, Quinn Ewers is 2.49. Whereas Dylan Gabriel is 15th. He's 2.61. Who else? Oh, our guy Kyle McCord, 2.49. He's 8th in the country, but sometimes he throws it to the wrong team for touchdowns. Who else? Yeah, a lot of these guys get it out quickly, but not Dylan Raiola. I think it's because he's younger. Maybe he doesn't see the entire field quickly enough. Comes with time. I'm just looking at some of the other guys down here, like Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt, 2.92. That's 44th. Some of the bottom of the shelf guys here. Where's our guy? Let me find Will Howard. Will Howard's 14th. He gets it out at 2.57. So right there with Dylan Gabriel. He's 14th. And then getting pressure on this guy from the D-line and linebackers. You got to rotate in some guys. Let's keep, Caden Curry in there as long as possible. Kenyatta Jackson. Again, I'll mention C.J. Hicks. Let's see some different blitzing strategies. If we're going to have 3 linebackers in, run a 4-3 this week, you've got Sonny Styles that can blitz off the edge. Even Cody can bring it up the middle. And then whoever's playing the other, whether it's Arvell Reese or C.J. Hicks at the other linebacker position, those guys are really good at blitzing. So I think there should be no shortage of blitzes this week. Sage says, I got Buckeyes by 24. Okay, so just under the spread there. Steven says, I think Indiana gets their first loss when they come to Columbus. I agree. I think they'll be undefeated when they come in. That's fine. Beat up on a ranked opponent. Yes, I agree. They will be undefeated until then. I agree with that. Oh, what else? The other thing about getting pressure is on the quarterback, it works hand in hand with the coverage. So tighter coverage on the back end means it's going to take longer for those guys to get open. I want to see less zone coverage and off coverage. And again, that D-line helps. The more pressure they can get alone or with a blitz, that takes more pressure off of the coverage in the back end. So these things have to go together, and it can't just be one side or the other carrying all the weight, Sage says on the D-line, use situational players on certain downs. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying with C.J. Hicks. I don't care if it gives our hand away a little bit. It makes it, maybe it does make it predictable, but you still have to stop it, right, as an offensive line. Odysseus. Buckeyes 70-7. All right. I'll take that. Bucks by 1 million, right? Stephen S. has 38-13 Buckeyes. Okay. Right on the number there, huh? Okay. I like it. Well, Steven says, why was the jack position abandoned once Knowles arrived in Columbus? Ryan Day kind of talked about that the other day in his press conference. He said when he hired Jim Knowles, he told Knowles that he could do some of his previous things that he was doing at K-State and at Duke and stuff, but that they have the defensive linemen to run a four-man front. So, and I'm pretty sure that Larry Johnson definitely wants to run a four-man front, right? I mean, that's all we've heard and talked about and read. So, yeah. I think in order to see that jack position ever, Larry's going to have to retire, honestly. So, I don't know. We were recruiting to it, so not anymore. We're not getting high-end recruits who are going to play that position. It's either one or the other. You play linebacker or you play DN. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I don't see either one of these guys budging. It should be Jim Knowles dictating to Larry Johnson, but again, seems like Ryan Day kind of has Larry's back, at least from my point of view. Checking on some more comments here. Looks like we are all caught up. So we will be back Sunday night. Me, Jeff, and Sean, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. The Buckeye Rush Hour and the TBC Weekly will still exist. Just push and pause on the Daily Buckeye Blitz. So, but still join me Friday afternoons, 4:30 Eastern, and then Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern live. All right? Appreciate you guys. Sage says, gets the last one in. Yes, it's time for Larry to accept his gold watch. Couldn't have said it better myself. All right. I'll talk to you later. Go Bucks.